Sports Illustrated just dropped their first 2025 NBA mock draft, and it's time to make a reaction. This is the second reaction to an NBA mock draft we have so far this season. I've never reacted to a Sports Illustrated one though, so I'm excited. On the front, we have VJ Edgecombe, we have Cooper Flag. I assume they're both going to be in Sports Illustrated's top 30. We already reacted to a Bleacher Report NBA first round mock drafts. That'll be linked in the description. That'll be popping up in the top right sometime in this video. And at the end of the video, in the cards, in the where they show that little picture at the end, that little video you can click on, that's going to be there as well. So make sure to watch that video. I think it was a good one. And now we have this one where it's going to be the 2025 NBA mock draft. Scrolling down to see who is that first picture we're going to see. Um, okay, so no picture. And actually no explanation either. We just have the name Cooper Flag to the Brooklyn Nets. Well, that's kind of lazy, but Cooper Flag to the Brooklyn Nets makes 100% sense. The Brooklyn Nets are looking to get a guy to help lead the team for the future who has superstar potential, and I think Cooper Flag has that. At this time in their franchise in 10 months, they're probably going to be moved on from Cam Johnson, probably going to be moved on from Dorian Finney-Smith. So that power forward position should be freed up 100% for Cooper Flag. And I hope they try to include Noah Clowney into some stuff as well. Maybe coming off that bench, maybe starting off the four, and we'll see what Cooper Flag can do at the three. I don't know. But I do know is that Cooper Flag is the unanimous #1 overall pick. I think he has superstar potential. But don't get that confused with generational talent, because generational talent, you got guys like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was the unanimous #1 overall pick. He was viewed as going to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And before Michael Jordan finished his career, he was the greatest basketball player of all time. Obviously, LeBron James, out of high school, unanimous #1. There was no doubt. After him, I guess Victor Wembanyama, he's getting that generational type of look too. And then Michael Jordan, he was the second overall pick. And I guess if you ask someone from back then, is Michael Jordan generational? That saw him play in college and has not gotten drafted to the NBA yet, they're probably going to say no. But he grew into be one of the greatest players of all time. So he can have that. But overall, Cooper Flag, superstar potential, but I'm not sure if he's a generational talent. At 2, we're going to have Dylan Harper going to the Washington Wizards. Okay, I probably would rather Nolan try over here if they're looking to take the point guard position. And if they're not, VJ Edgecombe I have higher than Dylan Harper. I also have Ace Bailey, his teammate at Rutgers, higher than Dylan Harper. But I can see the vision of why they'd want to get a nice score first combo guard to add to that team. Obviously, I have Alex Sarr going forward in the future. We'll see what Keyshawn George becomes. You already have Bub Carrington in that backcourt. So does a Dylan Harper and Bub Carrington backcourt work for the future, where they're both kind of play the same position as a combo guard? I'm not sure. But if they really value that high upside scoring of Dylan Harper, I think this is a fine pick by the Washington Wizards. At 3, we have the Pistons taking Trey Johnson out of Texas. This is definitely interesting. He wasn't in my lottery for my way too early 2025 NBA mock draft. I think Trey Johnson's a great player. He doesn't really have that athleticism that these other top wings or top guards have in this draft class, like a VJ Edgecombe, like an Ian Jackson, like a Drake Powell, like a Jaleel Bethea, like even some of these overseas guys as well. I don't think he has that exact athleticism and power at the rim, but he's a guy that can go out and give you a bucket, break you down and get to a spot and get a bucket. The reason I personally did not have him in my lottery for my way too early 2025 mock draft was not because he's a bad player. It's really just, I don't really know how good he's going to be able to shoot from the field or his percentages in general at Texas this season. I know he's a score first guy. I know he doesn't get to the rim as much as I'd like to see. So if he has to settle for a lot of jump shots and maybe at some times, like we kind of saw what Jacoby Walter did last year for Baylor, maybe Trey Johnson's inefficient. Maybe he falls out of the lottery, and I think there's a great chance that happens. I think he's a lottery talent, but I think he can go as low as mid to low 20s. But I also think he can go as high as a top 10 player in this draft class. At 4, we're going to have the Chicago Bulls take VJ Edgecombe. Interesting. So I guess that means that's the end of Josh Giddey and Kobe White. And maybe I would assume, I mean, you're going to have to pick one of them to be your long-term point guard. In my opinion, go give Kobe White the keys. I don't love Josh Giddey's game. I think he's not great at everything. He's not a good shooter. He's a pretty bad defender. He's a good passer, but he can't really get to the hoop. And when he does get to the hoop, he's not great at finishing at all. So for that reason, I'd like to see them move on from Josh Giddey and embrace a guard rotation of VJ Edgecombe, Kobe White, Aldasumu, We'll see what happens with Zach LaVine. You do have Lonzo Ball as well, but I'm pretty sure that they're probably not going to have Lonzo on this team going 2 seasons from now. Not next season, where we're going to have the 2025 season, but by 2026, I don't know if Lonzo will be a Chicago Bull. So I like this pick a lot for the Chicago Bulls, getting BJ Edgecombe to potentially be that Zach LaVine replacement. I guess he's more of a downhill Zach LaVine. I compared him to Anthony Edwards at one point. You can also see Dwayne Wade as well. I know that's very high praise, but I guess you could just water that down a little bit. BJ Edgecombe's one of the most fun players to watch in this draft class, and I think for sure he's a top five talent. Top five of the Utah Jazz taking Nolan Trior. I love this pick. I think they need to get their lead point guard. You have Keontae George. I think he's definitely more of a combo guard, though. Nolan Trior, a great passer. In my opinion, he reminds me of a taller Tony Parker. He's also a great shooter as well. I think getting down to the hole is really what's going to separate himself from the rest of these higher prospects. He's one of the best finishers in this draft class. He's about 6'5", and he can really get his bucket from anywhere. Ace Bailey to the Charlotte Hornets at number 6. I think this would be okay. You probably plug and play him right away at that small forward position, maybe move Brandon Miller to the 2. And the versatility of a LaMelo Ball, Brandon Miller, Ace Bailey 1 through 3 makes me very excited. If Ace Bailey falls to 6 and the Hornets are able to take him, that'd be an absolute steal. At 7, we have the Blazers taking my personal favorite player in this draft class, Hugo Gonzalez. I think he's the most versatile prospect we had. Hugo Gonzalez does bad. And if this young Blazers core is able to add a guy, a nice connecting piece like Hugo Gonzalez, someone who I think is a little bit similar to Denny Abdia, I like it a lot for them. Having a core of Scoot Henderson, Shaden Sharp, Donovan Clingan, Hugo Gonzalez is a great way to start a potential, I don't know, NBA Finals team in what, 20 years? Who knows? We'll see. The Raptors at 8 take Kaman Malak. When I originally put Kaman Malak to the Bulls, I think it was at 6 in my way too early mock draft. I kind of would drop that now, and I think there's still some centers that right now I take over Kaman Malak at talent base only, but obviously for the future, that's how teams are looking to draft. But for the Raptors, they're looking to replace their big man in Jakob Poeltl. He's starting to become expensive, especially when he gets that new contract. So there's no better way to replace him. It fit into what the Raptors are looking to do for the future. At 9, we have the San Antonio Spurs taking Kasparas Jakujonas. Honestly, he reminds me a bit of Hugo to see what he could do at the collegiate level next season. Illinois, obviously that Big Ten is going to be a good one with them, Purdue, Michigan State, Indiana, and obviously a lot of other schools. I mean, you got some of the West Coast schools too. You have USC, you have Oregon, you have who else is there? At 10, we have the Spurs taking Rocco Zikarsky. He is definitely more of a traditional big man. And I think for this Spurs team right now, if there's not a really, really, really good wing to take, and I think at this point, Ian Jackson's probably not worth it. Drake Powell, I think about. With the other pick, you did take a guard in Kasparis Jakujonas. So I know a big man obviously will not start for them because they have Victor Wembanyama, a generational talent, man. I like a lot. Back to the basket guy. He's 7'3". He's a big guy. He's not small either. He's stocky. So to the Spurs at number 10, it's a good value pick, but maybe there's some slightly better fits I prefer. Saraf or Saref, I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name, but I do know is that he's another high value, high motor, high intensity guard. You had someone similar to that who was obviously a slightly better playmaker who you drafted in Nikola Topic. He's not going to be playing this upcoming season, so maybe we look at Ben Saraf to be a future backup shooting guard. But like I said in my earlier mock draft, whether that was my mock draft reaction or that was just my way too early mock draft, there should be no scenario where the OKC Thunder should be picking in the first round, or I guess with a lottery pick at least, because if they don't win the finals this season, these picks need to go ahead and get a better player. This Melton's taking Colin Murray Boyles out of South Carolina. Honestly, I kind of like this. It's cool to see Colin Murray Boyles get the first round hype or the lottery hype. I think will be a first rounder, but getting that lottery help hype is something I'd like to see. I think him being 6'7", maybe even a bit shorter than that, maybe a bit taller than that, who knows? A big power forward, a Zach Randolph type build, a little bit smaller than Zach, but still has the same intensity, would be great for this Sacramento Kings team. And Sabonis needs someone to protect him. Draymond Green's going to keep going at him every single game. He's going to try to throw some punches. He's going to try to stomp on chests. And if I'm going to do that in front of Colin Murray Boyles, probably going to think twice because he is a big, stocky dude. Kyler Murray boils to the Kings, offers them some more versatility at that power forward position, gives them a nice change of pace from what Keegan Murray is going to bring you. Keegan Murray, you'll put him in the corner, end up with the first round pick, or more specifically, obviously, they'll end up with the first round pick. If they end up with a lottery pick, I think Dink Pate would be a great guy because he has a high ceiling, but probably more of a low floor. And if they decide to keep Kawhi Leonard and keep James Harden, Dink Pate can be a nice guy to just develop in the background. At 14, we have the New Orleans Pelicans taking Liam McNeely. This is another pick that I like a lot. I think the main goal for this Pelicans team is to build around Zion Williamson. I know he's somewhat injury prone, but when he is on the court, he is one of the best players in the NBA. One way to build around him is to get shooters around him. You have Trey Murphy, you have Jordan Hawkins, you have Herb Jones, who's developed a lot, you have CJ McCollum. And bringing Liam McNeely, one of the best shooting forwards we have in college basketball next season as a freshman, is going to help them a lot. So I like Liam McNeely at 14. I don't know if he'll be more of a Brandon Ingram replacement. I think they kind of have that in Trey Murphy if they decide to move on from BI. But Liam McNeely off the bench, being a nice catch and shoot guy, is something I like a lot for the New Orleans Pelicans. At 15, we're gonna have no 15. Okay, so that's the end of the mock draft. Didn't expect it to be 14 picks. Kind of disappointed. Hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless, though. Next time I want to react to a 30 pick mock draft because that's just better. Hope you guys enjoyed though. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.